The art of dual wielding is one of the most popular forms of combat depicted in fictional works, especially video games, due to the technique's visually appealing aesthetic of giving the dual wielder an appearance of having more power against the opposition, even though dual wielding is not a very practical strategy in most real-life combat situations. But whether it's dual wielding two weapons of the same kin, or complete polar opposites, no one can deny how badass dual wielding elevates an individual's persona. That's why, with the confirmation of Duel Form coming to Kingdom Hearts 3 as a free update launching alongside the DLC expansion that is Kingdom Hearts 3 Remind, I want to look back at the evolution and lore of dual wielding in Kingdom Hearts and how the technique has impacted the series as a whole. So with that being said, let's get into it. Dual wielding Keyblades, also known as Synced Blade, is an ability in the Kingdom Hearts series that not many key bearers seem to possess. The act of using two Keyblades in combat was first unveiled in Another Side, Another Story secret ending of Kingdom Hearts 1 Final Mix, where we see a hooded figure that Kingdom Hearts fans didn't know was Roxas at the time, using both Oathkeeper and Oblivion to combat a swarm of Neo Shadows. Fast forward to the prologue of Kingdom Hearts 2, fans were able to play as Roxas using the Synced Blade ability, once again summoning both Oathkeeper and Oblivion in a fight against Axel, which ended up being one of the most iconic moments in Kingdom Hearts history, and will go on to be Roxas' standard approach to combat for the remainder of the series. According to Kingdom Hearts lore, the reason Roxas can use two Keyblades at once is because of his connection with Sora and Ventus, thanks to being dubbed as Sora's nobody and having part of Ventus' heart remaining within him, essentially being able to use both Sora and Ventus' Keyblades. Originally, Roxas just wielded Sora's Keyblade, and with the creation of Xion, the power to access Ventus' Keyblade was blocked. However, when Xion was defeated by Roxas near the end of days, Ventus' power returned to Roxas, thus reawakened the Synced Blade ability to use Ventus' Keyblade. Now, there's no real answer as to why Roxas wields both Oathkeeper and Oblivion instead of the Kingdom Key and Wayward Wind, besides making Roxas look like a total badass. However, the two Keyblades are meant to be a symbolic representation of Sora's memories of his best friends from Destiny Islands, with Oathkeeper acting as the light Kairi radiates, being that she is a Princess of Heart, and Oblivion acting as the darkness Riku accepts within himself. He does walk the road to dawn after all. Moving on, after Roxas reunites with Sora in Twilight Town, all of Roxas' abilities are passed on to Sora, so theoretically it is possible for Sora to wield two Keyblades naturally, but to this day, Sora using the Synced Blade ability without the assistance of drive forms still hasn't been executed. Unless you count the time when Sora uses Riku's Keyblade to lay the smackdown on Xemnas in his Zebra Man form, but seeing that Way to the Dawn didn't belong to Sora, I don't think this counts. Speaking of drive forms, through the magic of the clothes that the three good fairies give Sora at the Mysterious Tower, he's able to temporarily take on new appearances that grant him a separate set of abilities. And the only time Sora can dual wield is when he taps into Valor Form, which represents Sora's strength and specializes in physical attacks, Master Form, which represents the fusion of Valor Form and Wisdom Form, amplifying both Sora's Keyblade and magic, as well as Final Form, which is defined as unleashing the true potential of the Keyblade's power. That is until Keyblade transformations came into existence. With that brief history of dual wielding out of the way, now let's talk about Duel Form coming to Kingdom Hearts 3. This was a surprise to most fans, including myself, because throughout the promotional trailers of Kingdom Hearts 3 Remind, Duel Form was not showcased in any of the gameplay segments, which had many fans led to believe that Oathkeeper and Oblivion would act similarly to the Kingdom Key and Starlight in terms of not having a second phase of their quote-unquote Keyblade transformation. But thanks to the unveiling from the official Kingdom Hearts Twitter account, turns out that's not going to be the case. My guess is that you can access Duel Form whether you wield Oathkeeper or Oblivion, with the slight difference being that if you have Oathkeeper as your main Keyblade, and then you access Duel Form, Oathkeeper will be in your right hand, and Oblivion will be in your left hand, and vice versa if you were to wield the Oblivion Keyblade as your main weapon. The look of Duel Form looks heavily inspired by Final Form, with a color scheme mixed with a good amount of whites, blacks, and grays, basically the pure representation of the balance between light and darkness. And apparently we might not have to wait too long to play with this form because the official Kingdom Hearts Twitter account states that the free update will be available ahead of the launch of the Remind DLC. So here's hoping that the free update drops very soon.
You're gonna give me what I want, or I'm gonna continue to hurt people you love!
Lastly, I want to take the time to talk about the controversy around the potential way players might have to unlock Oathkeeper and Oblivion when the free update drops. Many fans are speculating that the way one must unlock both Oathkeeper and Oblivion in Kingdom Hearts 3 is by obtaining the two proofs, that being the Proof of Promises, which is achieved by taking a picture of all 90 lucky emblems, with the second being the Proof of Times Past, which is obtained by completing Critical Mode. Both proof items share logos of Oathkeeper and Oblivion respectively, and if you put two and two together, many fans have concluded that this is the way to unlock two of Kingdom Hearts' most iconic Keyblades. However, if this turns out to be true, some fans see this act as unnecessary and a bit unfair, especially when it comes to obtaining the proof of times past, which I understand because I'm sure there are a lot of Kingdom Hearts fans that don't like playing the games on the hardest difficulty, whether it's because their skill level is not up to par, don't want to waste time with cheap deaths and just want to enjoy the story, or simply want to experience the game on an even playing field. And for those group of fans that learn that the only way to unlock the Oblivion Keyblade is by completing the game on Critical, whereas compared to previous games, the Oblivion is found in a chest in Kingdom Hearts 1, and in Kingdom Hearts 2, the Keyblade is obtained after the player watches a cutscene. So I can see this potential format of unlocking Oblivion to be a bit disheartening towards those group of players, which could lead to them lashing out towards developers, with Square Enix's response being get good. Now I have both proofs, so if this turns out to be the way to unlock both Keyblades, I'm all set. Personally, I prefer if both Oathkeeper and Oblivion were unlocked through natural progression of the game's main story. For example, after the cutscene between Sora and Kairi sharing the Papu fruit on Destiny Islands, you unlock Oathkeeper, and when you beat Anti-Aqua, you unlock Oblivion. Of course, if you already beat the main story, which I'm sure most players have, I'd like to see Square Enix just give us the Keyblades right when we load up our completed save files. But that's just me. So let me just see in the comments down below about the history of dual wielding in Kingdom Hearts, and the unveiling of Duel Form for Kingdom Hearts 3. If you guys enjoyed the video, make sure to hit that like button, it really helps me out. Subscribe for more content from me on Kingdom Hearts and other games in general on DMLX. I'll see you in the future.